I'm doing a little bit of a longer form video on that of the fear and greed index only because of one reason. In December of 2023, I lost my dad. He was 87 years old, and due to complications of pneumonia and a stroke and everything, I lost him. Very sad moment, but you just gotta realize, sometimes that just happens, right? That's life. That's the way it goes. Anyway, long story short, I kind of pushed myself to, that's just don't worry about trading anymore. And before the end of the year, I put a whole bunch of money in stocks I thought would go up. And this is like 9 months later, 9.5 months later, and yeah, holy cow! I tripled my money in a very short time, 9 months, and I pretty much did the same thing last month. I mean, not last month, last year in 6 months than I did. You know that the last 9 months is like holy cow. Okay, I can't really do this long. So the only advantage I had was right here. Right, I got in. My dad passed away in that of December, and I got in the markets right. This is the very end of it, like right in here, right? And I promised myself I would not look or nothing. And I happened to come along, and I did trade in that of this right here. April, May, June. Where's June? It's coming up. June's coming up. Around in this time here. In June, I think it was the 15th or whatever, it's the power trade. And I was like, holy cow, okay, well, things are going up. So I thought that's pretty good. But, I promised myself I wouldn't look anymore, right? So I did some power trades, but power trading is, you have to work up to that level because you just can't do a 1 minute chart and be at the same intensity that you were trading before without lowering the time. I mean, upping the time frame from 1 minute to like 5 minutes, because that's just a little hard in the old brain cells. It really is. When you're sitting there moving a mouse and your heart's pounding and you're sweating to death and you're moving a mouse, that's stress. That's really lots of stress. So, needless to say, what did the entire market do since that of December, right? It's completely gone up. Now it's in extreme greed mode, right? Extreme greed means one thing: it's getting pretty darn toppy out there, right? And I would have got out way earlier before that. Like, it was pushed to greed and then went back, and I was like, okay, that's it, I'm done. That was like the end of September or early October there, when the Middle East kind of went hot again, right? And I thought, okay, well, this could be the end, right? So I would decide to actually get out, but it's actually um, it wasn't the right time to get out, right? And to actually know exactly when to get out, you just have to start charting this stuff. I just panicked because I was not in it for the longest time, and you need to find details. Like, this is all the fine little printed details to get in and out. And all this resorts to all this, right? Stock price strength, right? You can see it all right there, right? Guess where the low parts are, right? You can see all the numbers going down, right? Negative 8.1. It resorts to up here, right? You can look down here and see where the market's going. Like, it's in the negative. Then it goes up. It's in the positive again. And guess what happens? It hits the top, which is like up here. and it goes back down. But as long as that line, the 125-day moving average, is below that of the S&P 500, you're okay, right? So you just gotta remember, if it drops, it drops, but the overall market is still up, right? So you look there, look here, and then all of a sudden it drops again, right? I hope you guys are getting this. This is the fine detail of one. I use the numbers for this. I use the numbers for this, right? And of course, same thing here, right? Use those numbers. Same thing. I use more this number than I use this. And same with that put and call options, right? You can always look. You know when the market's going up or down or whatever, right? And of course, if it's put, the market goes up. Call is the other way, right? And then of course there's the VIX. The VIX. And there is the Monument Traders Alliance, right? Your trade of the day here on YouTube. They'll teach you all about the VIX, right? I learned a lot about the VIX, and then I learned about all these other numbers. And the biggest factor was for me was that of July, August, and September of 2022. Why? Because I was no longer watching this anymore. I stopped watching it. And I was wondering why, I win a big streak and then lose. Win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And I lost a lot more money during that time. And I thought, okay, well, what am I going to do, right? And then it's like, okay, well, I'll go back to this. And then by then, it was like, too late. Wrong answer. And 2022 of September was like the COVID thing happening all over again. It's like the biggest drop since COVID, and I remember it well. And I thought, holy cow, that was a little bit of a beating. That's exactly what it is. It was a big beating. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to fine detail it. Fine detail all the charts, everything, so that I know every little tiny move there is to know, and I will kill it in the stock market. And you know what? That was like the fear and greed index 1 and myself 0. And then all of a sudden after that, it was like, okay, well, I've kind of lost track how many times I'm up over the fear and greed index. Like, I lost track. So when you lose track, you know you're on the right track, right? And ever since then, I pretty much will never looked back. And yeah, that's all I can say about that. And of course, you have all those Mrs. Doubtfires out there that, it's a bunch of beep, 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 and the whole bit. And of course, I've taught 7 people now how I trade, right? Using that of Monument Traders Alliance, and of course the Fear and Greed Index, right? And yeah, they get it. They've made stupid money, and it's about time that, after what I've just discovered, over that 9.5 months of waiting, that it's time for me to start practicing back up and getting back into it. My overall goal in 1 month is to turn $3,000 into $30,000, and then $30,000, into like $100,000, and $100,000 into like $300,000. That's the goal, and it can be achieved. It takes a lot of discipline, and of course, if you have a bad day, like I'm not a morning person. I'm really not. However, the only thing is, if you're not really up to it, you don't trade that day, and you make up for it. You really, really seriously do make up for it. Never have been a morning person, never have, will be, but there's times that, you got to get up and get going with it and be disciplined. And every time I was disciplined towards a really good trade, I'd always have a good trading day. But I always have a watch beside me, and it would always ring every 2 minutes, because otherwise sometimes you get a little tired, and then all of a sudden you doze off, and you oh no, peeing, taking a pee or taking a poo or falling asleep has been my biggest downfalls in the last like 4 years. But you learn to overcome that too, right? So it's just one of those things. Anyway, here's another one, right? Stocks under $1.org. That is awesome stuff. Like just seeing where some of these stocks are going, especially that of the NASDAQ. I watched this one. Go to my community page and you'll see everything there right now. It is all resorted to that of the NASDAQ. High volume penny stocks and penny stocks to watch and penny stock losers. Why? Because when you got penny stock losers, guess what happens to the losers? Eventually, they become winners, right? So you really watch that stuff. You always keep track of these things, especially when they drive off the face of the earth and they're pounded right into the ground. Then all of a sudden they go up, and then they go down, and then up and down. And the next thing they go up, and they have a big run, and that's where you make stupid easy money, right? And of course, NASDAQ stocks under $1. That's an easy one too, right? So yeah, it's just so much information. But my biggest wins on that of the stock market back in 2023 was that of FinViz. And of course, these magical numbers. And if you see the last, I just did a video on that, of a short on that, a verb. And I didn't know what was going to happen with it. Verb. It's not a noun, it's a verb. That's exactly what it was. It's not a noun, it's a verb, because it came up in my feed and I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm going to do a video on it, because every time something like that comes up, something happens. It either goes down or it goes up. And guess what happened, right? Boom, it went up 58%, right? And this started off like a buck or two or whatever. It was way back when, like 2020 or whatever. Now it's like $12. And then all of a sudden now, it went up again. Why? I think it was a split or something. Let's have a look. It's a stock split, I think it was. Everything's already split, yeah, right? So you gotta watch this kind of stuff, but still, right? So there's so much to this stuff. There really is, but you get used to it, and then you become a good trader after you have to paper trade first. Number one, paper trade, right? Or get an account that has a way that you can use play money in order to do it. And then you work with real money. And then, the stakes are even higher because you're using real money. But once you learn how to do this stuff, like I trade power stocks, it's like, holy cow. Go back to that on my community page, and I have a whole bunch of stuff there on dealing with all this stuff. And that is on that of October the 14th, 2024. So it's all there. Have yourselves a very good day. Subscribe for way more. Check out my community page. And I will have full details on how I'm going to make my comeback for 2025. Coming right now, before long in 2024. You got to kind of, practice it up, knowing where everything is going. And I included that of all the penny stocks I'm watching right now. One penny stock that I got into, that of December of 2023, went from 5 cents to like $4 or $5. And that was on a tech stock, and there was quite a few of those, and I was like, holy crap. That just gave me the incentive to really, like 2025 is coming up. Nothing in the world compares to knowing how to do this, trade stocks, and just making money that you've never made before, because it's absolutely mind-blowing. Anyway, have yourselves a very good day. Check out that of Monument Traders Alliance, or better yet, your trade of the day on YouTube, because they the gurus I was with for 2 years and learned how to trade with them before I went solo, right? That's what you gotta learn. You gotta learn to really, if you really want to do that and change your life, this is it. And my biggest thing was when I left my company I was with for 30 years, my money is locked in, which is basically they give you a whole whack of money for your pension, and that gets locked into a pension fund, and you can trade on it and all that kind of stuff. But it's just, I don't even want to talk about that. That gets me all excited and a little ticked off about everything like that. But anyway, long story short, that's all I want to talk about with that one. But it can be done. You just gotta have the incentive and the determination to do it. That's the big thing. If you're damnly determined to do it, then you will do it. Have a good day and subscribe for way more. Check out my community page, and ciao for now. A long form video for you. Thanks a lot, guys and gals out there, and thanks for watching my video. Ciao for now.